like get in the back of a refrigerated truck and try to make it into the UK, and then you just don't hear anything from them, and then you start seeing the news story of 39 people. It's unbelievably sad. I can't believe that people would risk getting into a refrigerated truck. First they were saying maybe the truck originated from Bulgaria, and I was like, Sylvie. Doesn't that just sound like an operation that Sylvie would run? Like the grand motto, family money dried up, and then she just got into human smuggling. But it sounds like, and I don't know how much they know, but they arrested 2 brothers from North Ireland for 39 counts of manslaughter and human trafficking. And then the driver of the truck is a 25-year-old truck driver from Northern Ireland, and he's been also arrested and charged. There's a whole camp that thinks he didn't know what was happening and that he should be let go. What a wild case. I watch so much UK news. I like this style of UK news. Like a couple of the like reporters on the scene. Here in the United States, it's very like, today on the scene, and it's like the UK reporters were kind of just like, yeah, so, I don't even know how to explain it. They were like kind of this guy like misspoke a little bit. I don't know, it's like kind of more my style. But I watched a lot of UK news to the point where I started saying phrases, like this one police officer, she came out and she goes, Shelby, at 1:40 a.m. today, 39 found back in the lorry, how do you say it? So yeah, that's a sad one. But all right, maybe I'll end today with telling the story why I went to Russia this summer, and it kind of ties into why I think that Natalia would be able to speak Ukrainian. And so my girlfriend was born in Moscow, and they immigrated to the United States when she was 4. First they moved to Italy while all the paperwork was going through, and then they moved here. And her dad is 80-something, and just like a lot of immigrants, he is totally against immigration now. And so the reason they immigrated is her grandfather, her father's father, was killed in 1935 by Stalin's guys for, pretty sure, sending a letter to a friend criticizing Stalin a little bit, and then that friend ratted him out. And then he was arrested and tried and convicted and executed all in like one day or a couple days. So crazy. It wasn't even 100 years ago if you think about it. So crazy times. But anyway, so you could see why her dad, wanted to leave. And so they came here when she was 4 years old and have lived here since. And she, coming here as a 4-year-old, so 2 years before Natalia, to this day speaks perfect Russian. Fluent, she gets compliments on it. So even if, say, Natalia wasn't as good at languages as my girlfriend, she still would probably speak something. And so, about, I don't know, maybe like a year or 2 ago, my girlfriend's aunt passed away, which is really sad, and they were really close. And to everybody's surprise, mostly the surprise of my girlfriend's parents, when her aunt died, which is her dad's sister. When she died, she left her apartment outright to my girlfriend, her apartment in Moscow. Didn't leave it to the whole family, and so her dad was like, what? She left it to you? And so then all of a sudden, we just have an apartment in Moscow now. It can't hurt to have a little hideout in Moscow. Can you imagine if I was running for politics in the United States? They'd be like, he literally has an apartment in Russia. And I'd just be like, fuck all you guys. So, once the apartment, and we were like, should we sell it? And then we looked into it, and you can't make really, I don't really understand how it works over there, but you couldn't really make that much money off of it. So we're like, let's just keep it. Just have an apartment in Moscow. And even though my girlfriend had gone 2 summers ago to like do the paperwork to sign the apartment over to herself and to clean it out and stuff, she didn't really want to go to Russia again last summer, but we were kind of like, do you want to just go? I'd never been there. And we were like, do you want to go and stay in the Russia apartment? And then we were telling a couple of her college friends, like, yeah, we're going to go to Russia. We got this apartment now. It's kind of crazy. And they were like, can we come? And my girlfriend was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, wait, what? They're coming? But it turned out to be a fun trip. And just real cool. Nothing that crazy happened. I think that's why I haven't told the whole story yet, because it just was sort of an uneventful trip in a good way. But to get the visa, I had to go to the Russian visa office here in New York, and it's right down by Madison Square Garden. And so I got off the train. It was a really crowded touristy area, so every stoplight there's like 40 people waiting to cross the street. And then I finally get there, and it's wet. It's in this weird building. And go up to the floor, and I open the door of the visa office, and there's just 4 windows, each with a unbelievably gorgeous Russian woman with like a high ponytail and like a dress, just all sitting there. So I like burst into the thing, like all wet, and there's just these 4 hot Russians, and I was like, hello. And so it was like payment and appointment and walk-in. So I went into the walk-in one, got my Russian visa, and then it was kind of a tough trip for me because I'm not a great sleeper anyway.
They're down there.
So I mentally prepared for to not sleep at all on the plane, and then not sleep at all the first night. And that was the case. So I didn't sleep at all on the plane, and then the first night I just laid awake 100% the whole night. And then the second night in Moscow I slept pretty good, so I was like, okay, I'm over the jet lag, here we go. And then the third night I just stayed up. And I got to some mental lows during that night of just staying up and just being so tired. And that morning, I was just depressed. It was just like, what am I doing here? Luckily, another guy that we were with travels a lot, and the next morning I was like, God, I'm feeling depressed. And he was like, yeah, that's kind of typical he's like, I felt that with being jet lagged, and I guess going east is a lot easier than going west, jet lag wise, and you really can't go more east than Russia, before you start coming back. And trying to think of anything that, like I said, pretty good trip. Maybe something in St. Petersburg is notable. So in St. Petersburg, we're all at dinner and everyone's kind of drinking, and I actually wasn't that night, but the other people that we were with were drinking, it's getting loud, and all of a sudden this guy, it was like a tiny Georgian restaurant, and a guy at another table all of a sudden just starts, it's a tiny restaurant, just starts screaming like, I am an American and I want to tell my whole life story, look at me. Commenting, like yelling, basically saying like to us, like, you guys are being way too loud and you're just screaming. And it's like, yeah, maybe the people out here were getting a little drunk and a little loud, but it was like a Friday night at a restaurant. And so that was weird. So all of a sudden we're all just like, oh man, that's kind of rough. And also too, it's like you could have just turned around and said, hey, you guys mind being quieter? Like, Who yells at a wall if you have a problem? I yell at wall. When I have a problem, I yell at wall. And so that kind of took the wind out of everyone's sails. We're just sitting there, just like, all right, should we get the check? And then my girlfriend, being the badass she is, just stood up and like walked over to the table and then just starts talking to him in Russian. And then after a while comes back. What did they say? She was like, well, so she went over and starts talking in Russian, and the guy was like, hey, I'm just joking. I was just kidding. It's all, and it's like, that's the worst, is to just like, you get all mad, you yell at a wall, and then when someone's like, well, what's up with you talking to the wall? Why don't you just talk to us, you know? You scream at wall. And he was like, in English, so my girlfriend's talking to him in Russian. In English, he was like, I'm joking. And then I guess, like, one of the women, it was like 3 or 4 nice looking couples, and then the guy that did it, and he had like stupid shades on inside, and like was wearing, I don't know, like clothing that looked like a person 10 to 20 years younger than him would wear. And then so I guess one of the women in the couples was like, hey, she speaks Russian, talk to her in Russian. And then they start talking in Russian. And I guess everyone else was like, we're sorry, that was crazy. He's kind of just a friend that's a little bit, you know, has behavioral issues. We all feel embarrassed because of it. And so that made us all feel better. It's kind of a tense moment. And then other than that, it was just kind of a good trip. Sightseeing and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I should have said this at the beginning of the video. I'm going to be doing stand-up on Wednesday, November 13th at Poco in the Lower East Side. It's P-O-C-O. I think the show starts at 8. I'll say it again as we get closer. But yeah, if you're in the New York City area, come on out, say what's up. I think Janine Garofalo, they said, is on the show, so you can see someone famous. Yeah, I'm going to cut it off there. Hope everyone's having a good day.
Gonna spread the good news that we got a maintenance spot for our vehicles now.
Amen to that.
Hello?
This place will never feel like home again.
Fuck yeah. Word's getting around that you're a major hero, Captain.
Gets both ends better like this. People both cares in life.
More than words.
You know what I meant?
You said it.
All then was a lost cause, even before the highwaymen showed up.
They're good things.
I don't need a gunfight right now.
Holy jeez!
Listen up. We know you've been out there doing good work for us, and Mickey and Mickey.
and I'll radio you the extraction point. And don't forget to gear up. Good luck. Be careful, the package has a GPS tracker. Where it goes, the highwaymen follow. Bonne chance. Honesty. Okay, now listen up. Here's the coordinates where I can come pick you up. Go there, I meet you. They're below us. Assholes are not going to stop coming, so let's get the fuck out of here. Let's go. Shit, that was a close call, man. You're one crazy son of a gun, you know that? Glad you're on our side.
Oh, liste comme un tigre.
This world, nothing can stop a do bird.
Ready for more work?
We're backing you up from the water! Right down there.
Lie down, kitty.